Welcome back. Today we're going to be going through factorizing number factors from algebraic expressions. Now, if you don't know what factorizing is, it's just basically the opposite of expanding, or in simple terms, putting the brackets back in. Okay, so as an example, just to show you visually, expanding from last lesson was basically I get given an algebraic expression with brackets. So kind of like 4 lots of y plus 3, 4 bracket y plus 3. And I need to expand it out. To expand it, all I would do is multiply the outside number 4 by anything that's inside the bracket. So in this case, 4 plus y, or 4 times y gives me 4y. 4 times 3 gives me 12. And that's how I expand. Factorizing is the other way around. So it's me going with the answer 4y plus 12 and putting it back as a bracket. That's basically it. This is what we will be focusing on today. Okay, to factorize, you need something, right? So to factorize, we need to find the common factor, or in other cases, something that the terms have in common. So to do that, we need to use this technique called the highest common factor. You should have seen this before in year 7, but if we haven't seen it before, we're going to explain it again. All right, let's go through our examples to factorize. So you need to factorize 2x plus 4. So basically put it back into brackets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on just the number 2 and 4. And I'm going to try and find the highest common factor that 2 and 4 has. Remember, factors are two numbers multiplied together to give me an answer. So these are my factors here. Okay. So let's think about it. What are two numbers multiplied together to get me 2? Well, 1 and 2. What two numbers multiplied together gives me 4? Well, 1 and 4 is the easier one, and 2 and 2. But because 2 times 2 gives me 4, I'll just put 1, 2 in my list of factors. Now what I'm going to do next is, once I've listed out all my factors for each of the number 2 and 4, I'm going to circle which one that they have in common. So they have 1 in common, the number 1, and the number 2. Once I've done that, what I'm going to do now is, well, I'm going to write down what's my highest common factor. My highest common factor, we look at the ones I've circled, 1 and 2. Which one's my highest number? 2. So my highest common factor here is number 2. Using my highest common factor, once I found it, I'm going to put it right next to the equal sign. So that's my number, the 2, the highest common factor, is the number outside of the bracket. Then I'll put a bracket, and I'm going to figure out what's left over in here. To do that, you can either use division, so you can do 2x divided by 2 gives me what left, or if that's hard, you can do it by multiplication. So 2 times something gives me 2x. 2 times x gives me 2x. 2 times what gives me positive 4. 2 times positive 2 gives me 4. Okay, let's get to the next one. Same thing, dealing with just the numbers first. 5 and 15. Two numbers multiplied together to get me 5. Only 1 and 5. Two numbers multiplied together to get me 15. 1 and 15. And 3 and 5. Then I'm going to circle which numbers they have in common. 1 and 5. My highest common factor here, by looking at the ones I've circled, the highest number that I've circled is 5. Then, using my highest common factor, I'm going to put number 5 and bracket. Okay, now I'm going to use either division or multiplication. In this case, I'll use multiplication. 5 times what gives me 5a? 5 times a gives me 5a. I'm going to leave the minus inside the bracket just to make it easier for me. All right, 5 times what gives me 15b. In this case, 5 times 3b gives me 15b. So that's my answer there.